Hey, welcome back to True-Moto-Resto. In this video, we're going to continue with the reassembly of the junkyard slabby GSXR 750 Skoal Bandit replica. Stay tuned. So, like I said, we're going to continue with reassembly on the Skoal Bandit GSXR. I think since just a couple of small things I've done since the last time you tuned in for a video. Small things, I put the foot peg hangers back on, rear master cylinder. It's not bled yet, but it's mounted. Similarly, the peg on the other side has been mounted up as well. I started playing around a little bit with where I'm going to mount these. And I think one of the things I'm going to do, I'm going to cut the mounting tabs off the old Bandit fender. So this is for the fuse box. I'm going to cut this section out here for the CDI box to mount, and then rivet that to the inside of the fender. They're going to basically mount in these positions here. And these two guys, these two relays, I'm going to try to mount them vertically in here. And I'm going to zip cut off the bracket that's on the Bandit frame and attach it to the fender. I might actually have to make a second kind of angle bracket to attach it. I'm going to do the same thing with the relay. I'm going to cut that off the Bandit as well, and that'll bolt to the side of the battery box. So yeah, that's going to do that. I'm going to put the carbs back on and just kind of keep whittling my way through it, and we'll see how far we can get. So one thing I discovered that I need that I don't have is there's some sort of a clamp, and I can feel back here there's a hole for a screw, and the clamp is supposed to hold the brake line to the swing arm. It kind of comes over top of it and it bolts down in here. However, I don't have one, so I'm gonna have to check on eBay to see if I can find one of those. Unless anybody has one available or knows where I can get one, let me know. In the meantime, unfortunately, I have this unsightly zip tie attached to the swing arm until I can find one of those on eBay. So time to do some shopping. So a little bit of a holdup. I've only got one good throttle cable, and I want to use the ones that were on the Bandit. The ones that were originally on the GSXR just don't seem to reach in a way that I would like. So I did try the ones off the GSXR in here, and yeah, it wasn't working well. So I need a new push cable for a 1200 Bandit. So I've got one that I'm going to order up. I found one online, so I'll get that ordered up, and then I should be back in action. Unfortunately, that's just going to take a better part of a week to get that, so we'll have to just push on with other things. I keep fitting the tank just to make sure that all the cables and hoses and wiring loom are not in a place where it's going to impede the installation of everything. It's pretty tight in there. I think I'm gonna have to mount the rear tank support just to make sure that I can get that far forward enough. I think it should be okay, but just gonna make sure. Looking good. These are the signal lights off the Bandit, and I chose them because I have a matching set, and they basically the plugins for these are obviously a match for the wiring harness. So. Yeah, so those rear turn signals look pretty good on there. Can't complain about those. All right. And the good news is I have a matching set that'll go on the front. The only thing I'm missing on the front fairing is I don't have the rubber grommet that goes in here on each side, unfortunately. So I'm still short on that stuff. Okay, so the next thing I've got to try to figure out here is how do I fix the seat latch mechanism. So the latches themselves, these are the ones off the GSXR that have to go back on, and the key assembly, basically when you turn the key, it has one cable that splits to two, and it releases the two latches simultaneously. There are two problems that I have. First problem is this assembly has snapped off here, so it doesn't hold the cable in place, so that's a problem. Second problem is I don't have a key that fits in there and does not work. So unfortunately the key that I cut myself for the original ignition on the GSXR when I first got it, just to see if I could get, you know, lights and get it to crank and all that kind of stuff. I successfully cut a key for the ignition, but that key doesn't fit here for some reason. So either this was replaced at some point, or the ignition was replaced at some point. But either way, that key doesn't work. So what I have to try to do, I think, is somehow use this assembly off the Bandit, because obviously this is the same key, and it works just fine. The difficulty will be that the mounting for this is different than it is for the GSXR. So I think somehow I need to take off this mounting plate and see if I can adapt it somehow to fit on the Bandit. All right, so I did get the I did basically just transplanted the Bandit key lock assembly onto the GSXR cable system, and I've only got this kind of sort of temporarily bolted on at the moment. I want to kind of see how it attaches again to the kind of goes on the peg hanger up here somewhere, but I'm gonna have to probably make a new one of these, because right now it's only secured by one bolt. It's kind of a completely different shape than the other one. And then of course, in my eagerness to get things done and to move things ahead, I put the rear fender on too soon, which made these things a huge pain in the backside to get on. I've still got 3 of these bolts to kind of fish the nuts underneath here to get them on, but we'll get there. All right, so I'm just making an adapter cable. This is for the license plate light. So this plugs into the Bandit harness, and then this is off the old GSXR wiring loom that was butchered, and that'll plug into the GSXR license plate light. So I'm just going to solder these up and then move these heat shrink tubes up and then shrink them on. All right, so this is the adapter plugged into the Bandit harness using the tail off the Bandit license plate light, and then this is a piece of the old GSXR wiring loom here plugged into the GSXR license plate light. Yeah, I couldn't resist just trying the upper fairing on there just for giggles. But yeah, I'm going to wait with putting anything else on, just because there's a certain amount of excitement and thrill that goes with throwing all the bodywork on at the end of a restoration process. It's just like icing a cake, right? So as tempting as it is to chuck more bits at it just to see how it looks, I'm going to wait, because it's going to look pretty spectacular, I think. All right, so I just zip these guys off of the Bandit. This will be for mounting the relays, and then this is for mounting the starter relay. So yeah, I'll get those. Basically, I'll grind off the angled pieces on the back here, these guys, and then I'll be able to drill that in the center and then bolt it to the side of the battery box. This one I'll just clean that up. I'll probably also attach like a piece of angle bracket to that. I'll just make an angled piece out of some steel, and then that can get attached to the fender. And they just got cut off here. One got cut off there, and the other one got cut off here. So that's the mount for the fuse box off the Bandit, and that's going to go right in here someplace. So now we've got all of the mounting stuff. So that'll get riveted to the fender. This will get riveted to the fender for the CDI box. I got to trim it up and neaten it up a little bit. This will be bolted to the battery box for the starter relay, and this will be attached to the fender for the other two relays. Yeah, just got to paint them. Probably make some bracketry for this one, and then that should be good. All right, so time to start preparing for the exhaust to go on. The pipe, the mid pipe has been painted. The can has been polished, and I cleaned out as much of that pipe as I could. I stuffed the vacuum cleaner down there. There was huge gobs of oily carbon in that pipe. Just kind of the same as, I don't know if you recall back in the earlier video when I pulled the head off the original 750 engine, and how the exhaust side of the head was just caked in oily carbon deposits, while the inside of the pipe was the same way. So I cleaned that out. I ran a wire brush down the inside of the silencer, knocked off any kind of loose surface rust that was on that, and now I'm just starting to try to clean up. This is a Yoshimura header. That is a Vance & Hines pipe. The Yosh header, I think it's stainless steel. I guess it could be titanium, I don't know for sure, but it's exceptionally light. Compare this to the steel one that came off the 750 originally, or the stainless steel one that came off the Bandit, and they weigh a ton. This weighs nothing. It's super lightweight, so it's either, you know, thin-walled stainless steel or titanium, or I don't know what it is, but anyway, it's very, very light. One or the other. So what I'm doing now to clean this up a little bit is 2000 with grit wet emery paper using WD-40, and then I'm also using, after I do that, I'm using this stuff, the bluing remover. It works pretty well. So that's what I got going on for that. So I'm gonna plug away at this for a while, get it cleaned up, and then we'll think about getting it mounted on the engine. So one thing I have noticed with these pipes, they do fit fine onto the bike, but this one has come apart. So I think like these are supposed to be welded and permanently attached to the pipe, because this flange, this collar, is what actually holds the pipe into the head. And so if this is kind of floating around, then it's not going to do much of anything. So I'm going to either have to try my own welding skills here, or take it in to get that welded up. It just needs kind of a few tack welds around the inside, so maybe I'll try it myself, as long as I don't bugger it up, I guess. I know exactly where it has to go, because you can see the edges there are kind of uneven where it's broken away, and you can match them up pretty precisely. I just kind of marked it with a Sharpie on the inside there that's exactly where it has to go. So maybe I'll try it, see what happens. And as long as I don't get any welding, any weld on the outside or on the face here, I should be okay. It just it can only be on the inside. Okay, there's a slight change of plans with the CDI box and the fuse box. Well, change of plan, it's the same area, but I had to move it much lower down. Originally I thought I had to kind of have the top of the CDI box up here, but when I refitted the seat again, for some reason it fitted a little bit differently. Maybe I wasn't seating it correctly before, but anyway, it required me to move the CDI box much further down to get sufficient clearance there. And the other thing that's done is it's necessitated relocating or rethinking how I'm going to mount these two relays. They're both on the bracket right now that I got off the Bandit, as you can see right in there, in green bracket. But I haven't yet figured out how I'm going to mount it. I might have to kind of extend this out on a little bar this way and attach it to the fender right in here someplace. But yeah, we got to figure that part out. I kind of want them to sit kind of neatly right in there. So I think there's an opportunity to kind of mount them in here someplace, but I'll figure that out. And then I'm gonna make sure that these guys are gonna seat down nice and low. By the time I get that clamped down, there'll be a proper amount of clearance here, because this has to get clamped down. Yeah, there's no doubt it's a tight squeeze. Just the wiring harness is a little bit more cramped and whatnot. So next I'm going to see if I can mount the relay up here. I've got the bracket that I cut off the Bandit right here. I painted it black, got a hole in it. And get the mounting bolt, and that's going to attach right there. And then we'll get this guy mounted on it, and then hopefully everything will tuck right in there nicely. All right, there we are. Got it, so it's just kind of bolted on there, and then the two tabs. I mean, this is exactly what it was used for on the Bandit, so I just bolted it on there. I've got these things. These are the Suzuki style zip ties. I just kind of bundled those wires together there, so that should be all right. So I've just got to figure out how I'm going to basically stabilize this set. And I think everything else is going to be good. Shouldn't be too bad. Good to go. So the fork brace and fender mount for my GSX-R is in really bad shape. It's bent, it's cracked, pieces missing. So yeah, it's scarred up pretty good. See in here, it's all kind of, I think it's been bent and then re-straightened out a few times and whatnot. Pretty bad. So I'm gonna try and find a new one of those on eBay if I can, and if I can't, I'm actually gonna, this is the one off the Bandit. I'm gonna cut it. These holes line up fine. These ones do not, so I'm gonna re-drill those. And then even if I have to put a bit of a thin washer underneath just to hide the hole, I can do that. Should be fine. It's quite a bit thicker as well compared to this one, so not a bad thing. So I'm now at a point where I've got the brakes to bleed, and then everything else is cosmetics, except for the pipes and the carbs. So I can't put the carbs on because I'm still waiting for a throttle cable. I can't put the pipes on yet because I got to get that one pipe welded. So I'm going to press on with, I'm going to do this fork brace, get that sorted out, and then I'll move on to getting all the brakes bled while I'm waiting for throttle cables and whatnot. Okay, so I'll show you the mirrors that I bought for the GSXR. These are the mirrors that were on the bike. These are the correct shaped mirrors. They came with kind of two different styles, I think, depending on the market and which country you were in. This is not the preferred style that I like. The other one was broken off completely. This one, there's like, you know, half the mirror left. It's neither use nor ornament. So I bought a set of reproduction mirrors for it. In this, the flat back style mirror. So these are the ones that you see on the GSXR and on other bikes. I think like the RG 250s that I had this style of mirror on them. So that's what I bought. I prefer this. It's a little bit more subtle than the I find the bullet back style just a bit too bulky looking. So I'm still not sure whether these pipes are titanium or stainless steel. If I use, this is a pretty powerful magnet actually, so it takes a good effort to pull it off steel. I understand stainless steel, there's a slight magnetic attraction, but I get nothing discernible here at all, which maybe it means it's titanium. Where these header collars are, like these things are magnetic, but whatever is underneath is not. So how they actually attach these, I don't know, because I don't know if you can actually weld stainless steel and or steel and titanium together, and I assume that these are welded somehow. So yeah, I'm kind of perplexed. I don't want to try welding onto these and then just have it kind of burn up, because apparently titanium will melt or burn much more easily than stainless steel. So I don't want to bugger it up. So I've got to find a more reliable way to test it, I guess. Okay, so another slight shift in plan. I'm not going to bother changing this. I actually found one of these on eBay out of Germany, so I bought a replacement for the GSXR, and then I can save myself the time, and I think it'll just be a better way to go. So anyway, that's out. A new one of these is in. This, I'm guessing that this is stainless steel, and if I knew for sure it was, I would take a shot at welding this myself. But this thing is so light. I've never felt stainless steel this light. It's pretty lightweight. So it could be titanium, I guess. In which case I don't know how they would have welded these on. I guess I've read that you can friction weld carbon steel to titanium. I don't know much about welding in general. But yeah, I don't know. I was assuming these are actually Yoshimura headers, but I don't think they are. I've done some research. I got these off eBay. They were off an '89 GSXR, but they're definitely not Yoshimura from what I've seen. All the Yosh pipes are carbon steel that I've seen, and the pattern of the headers, the way they cross over, is different on the Yoshimuras. So anyway, I don't know what they are. I'm not 100% sure whether they're stainless or titanium. If I was a betting man, I'd bet stainless. But so as not to bugger this up, what I've decided to do is an acquaintance of mine's son is a professional top-notch welder, and so he has agreed to take these to him and have him kind of weld this on the inside and sort it out. I guess the guy can weld pretty much anything to anything. If it's possible to be done, he can do it. So that's what I'm going to do. He's going to come and pick these up today, and hopefully I get them back fairly shortly. I am not the kind of person that likes being without my stuff for very long, even if things, especially things that have to go out to be fixed. I'm just not good with it. It's just one of my strange and wonderful quirks. Yeah, I lose sleep when my stuff is not in my possession. So yeah, strange as it is, That's the way I work. So yeah, so these will get picked up today. Hopefully he can get this sorted out and I can get it back. My throttle cables, it's been 4 days and they still haven't shipped them yet. So it's the spring and motorcycle season is here, and Fort 9, which is one of our Canadian motorcycle parts suppliers, tend to get a little bit slow at this time of year fulfilling orders because I guess demand is through the roof. So I'm forced into my my reluctant task of bleeding brakes and clutch. So that's what I'm going to do today. All right, so I'm doing the back brake bleeding. I just detached the master cylinder a little bit just to make it easier to get at. I've got some fluid in there, and I got my rag just in case my newly rebuilt master cylinder decides to puke fluid. And I do have a bleeder. I usually just put one of these on just to help pull through, even though I'll likely do it the traditional way, just pump and release the nipple. But just having a vacuum bleeder on there tends to help just sort of pull it through a little bit. I did the master cylinder on the clutch just a minute ago, and normally the clutch bleeds pretty easy. And this thing bled faster than any clutch I've ever bled in my life, which is great. Hopefully that doesn't mean I'm in for a bit of a rough ride on the brakes. So we'll see how this goes. It's feeling pretty good. So it took forever for any of the fluid in here to go down. I was pumping and pumping. I had the vacuum on and nothing, absolutely nothing. I couldn't get. I guess the master wasn't priming initially for some reason. But anyway, eventually, all of a sudden, it just started to suck fluid like crazy. So I think the rear brakes are doing okay. So we'll get this button back up and then I'll move on to the front ones. Well, once again, the front brake bleeding process has become the bane of my existence. I can say fairly confidently that the calipers appear to be bled fine because I'm getting absolutely zero air bubbles coming out of there. And I always bleed the far caliper first, and in the case of the GSXR with 2 bleed nipples per caliper, you bleed the inside nipple before the outside. So that's what I did, and I've got all the air out of those calipers. It's just nothing but fluid coming out. But I'll say, like, when I have one pull on that lever and it goes almost to the bar. You pump it a couple of times, and then I get feel. It gets stiff. See, now I'm getting lever. But if I let that go for a second, I come back again, back to the bar. So I don't know if I've still got some air somewhere in the master, or what's going on. See, I'm right back at the bar here. Second time it better, third time, fourth time it works really good, but that's no good for. See, now it's really good, but you can't ride a bike like that. So I don't know, I'm gonna tie the lever back to the bar for a while and see if that helps anything. See, it goes right back now. So I don't know what's going on with it. You have no idea how much I hate bleeding front brakes. I hate it. Okay, so what I did was I undid the master cylinder from the bar, and I kind of tilted it up this way more to move the lever up. So in case there was any air bubbles trapped on this side of the piston in here. I figured, let's see if I can move any of those air bubbles back. And then I pumped the lever again. It seemed to be a little bit better. And it did take an incredible amount of time to get the master bled. There was a lot of bubbles coming out of here. So I'm guessing there might be some air still in the master. So I've tied the lever back to the bar. And I'm going to leave that there for the rest of the day. And then we'll try it again a little bit later on. All right, so I think my lever is good. Finally got that sorted out. So that was just, I think, just some air trapped in the master cylinder. My pipes have gone. My header pipes have gone to be welded. So hopefully I'll get those back soon. I'll be losing sleep over those being gone. So, and then I'm still waiting now for parts. So, yeah, no throttle cable has come in yet. And my pod filters haven't arrived yet. It's been 10 days and Amazon still haven't shipped them. I did call them yesterday or went online with a chat, and they promised me they'd be shipped by today, but that hasn't happened either. So they're coming out of the US, Amazon.com shipping to Canada, which I don't know if that's going to be an issue or not. But anyway, so I'm still chasing those down. I've got rubbers for this coming from eBay. I've got one of these coming from Germany from eBay. And I'm also waiting for a fuel petcock for that. That's coming from somewhere else. So at this point, I'm gonna have to wrap up the video for this week, I think, because I'm just kind of waiting for parts. Once the rest of everything arrives, I'm thinking one more video, all being well, maybe 2 at the most, to get hopefully next video get it running, and then depending on how that goes, we'll get the body work on. So I think we're getting to the final stages of this restoration build. So I think that's going to wrap it up for this video. If you've enjoyed the video, if you enjoyed this series and you like this kind of stuff in general, please consider subscribing to the channel. It's much appreciated. It really does help the channel grow. And I very much appreciate all the subs that I've been getting over the past few months. We're now over 2,000 subscribers, so that's fantastic. Thanks very much for that to everybody who's watching and subscribing. And I guess the next thing will be to look for another set of project bikes coming up. After this GSXR is done right here, we're going to move on to that KTM RC8 track bike, which is going to become a Red Bull MotoGP replica. I'll probably pick away at that over the summer. And then, yeah, I got to spend some time in the summer scouring for some more projects for next fall and next winter. And just got to find something interesting and exciting to tickle my fancy. So, and keep everybody interested and tuned into the channel. So yeah, please like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.